Well, it was a rematch that we got a fresh start to, but unfortunately not going to be going Figure8's way on their map pick, as Infinity best them yet again. And quite a nail bite moment at the end there too, Wyatt. That was the defuse stuck. That was so close to maybe going another way, but hey, we'll have to see if Figure8 can bounce back on our next round.
Yeah, tragically, the believers. So they did not make the comeback. They were so close.
79%. How was that not enough?
We got so close to maxed out belief. We were so close, man. It was a valiant effort on the comeback, but just barely didn't end up panning out because Hezi won a pretty ridiculous 1v3 clutch at the very end. Hezi was actually just on fire the entire game. Just great Raze gameplay, playing with what seemed like a massive amount of confidence, rifling, buckying, offing, just doing a little bit of everything.
You know, we really don't talk enough about buckying being a peak skill for a duelist player, so I think Hezi definitely on top of that one. But I think a lot of this map did come down to, in my opinion, what could be seen as map pool issues for Figure8. Thus far, we've seen these teams in both the series, if they played against each other, banning the two new maps, Breeze and Sunset, out of here, which means you're kind of forced into playing the same pool time after time. And they wanted to do something different than last game by picking into Lotus here. But in my opinion, I didn't feel like their defense looked like they had a lot of variety in the ideas they could do. Round after round, it was like these 1-1-3 setups, pushing for space in a lobby control, and then trying to kind of play the mid-round off of that. But really early on, Infinity X figured that out, started to adapt. After that initial wave of util came in, would just send in players and punish that. And while defense is really hard on this map, not being able to find that adaptation sooner, and instead losing those 7 rounds in a row, I think is really what bit them in the butt in a game that otherwise, had they gotten a few more opportunities through on that defensive side, could have been a comeback and could have made the believers believe 100%.
Hezi was clearly the MVP in the kills department. Fantastic play. But I really do want to give a lot of credit to Lila, despite being at the bottom of the scoreboard. It's not all about the kills and deaths, you guys. It's about the utility and the team play.
And the kills.
Sure. But in this case, Mimi, Lila played an excellent half on the attack side. Was the reason that Infinity's rotations around the map were so good. Was the reason that they were able to consistently hit sites where there were little to no defenders. Did a great job playing off of her Viper utility over on that A side and exploiting the setup that became very repetitive, as you were mentioning for Figure8.
And now heading into our next map, there is one little note regarding Infinity here, is that we are going to be having a player sub at this point as we are looking at Haven. So Infinity up 1, so I'm not too worried for them in the subbing department. It will be Dawn subbing out and Car coming back in. We will be going to Haven next, and this was F8's pick last time around, but since Infinity won it, Mimi, Infinity feeling comfortable to pick it up and take it here.
Here's my theory on the substitution. What is Haven to you?
What is Haven? It's like the old Valorant map.
Wrong.
From the trailer.
The biggest map in the game. Don't test that. But it's big. You know what's inefficient?
It's definitely smaller than Lotus. Sorry, go on.
Don't question me. Walking around. So inefficient. That's why no one does it these days. What is efficient? Driving your car. Fast rotations. Vehicle. Cars. Fuel. The future. That's what cars going to bring to the mix on map number 2 to get the 2-0.
Maybe don't you hate cars?
I know, there are no bike lanes on Haven at all.
I hate cars, but I love Car, the player. I've watched them play before. They're pretty good, so I'm excited to watch them play. Because I love Car, singular.
You know, also, if you really think about it, Breeze is also definitely bigger than Haven. Like, you're just spreading misinformation.
The midsection of Breeze is bigger than any other map.
Curious, how many sites does Breeze have?
Campaign.
2. How many sites does Haven have?
Giant
3.
sites. 2 giant sites, maybe.
3 is bigger than 2. I took elementary school.
Wouldn't Lotus be bigger than Haven? Because Lotus also has...
They didn't need a car there. It had efficient pedestrian infrastructure.
Okay. But, the infrastructure aside, bringing Car in, it'll be interesting to see how this changes up, because I believe it was Car who actually did get to play with Infinity when they first did meet. So this will be something that Figure8 is a little bit more used to playing against, having seen her before out here, Mimi.
Yeah, already Carr was the primary player on the roster. I think a little bit of a surprise to actually see the substitution for map number 1, but, you know, they're trying out the whole 6-player roster kind of deal. I don't mind it. You know, if your player's more comfortable on a different map, send it.
Well, we are going to send it over to our agent select to get started with map number 2 here. Take it away, guys.
That's a segue. Wyatt, Jet's not dead. Your thoughts?
She's back. She has risen
She's
from the
so
grave.
back.
I mean, this is the most back I've ever seen Jet. There's been a lot of Raze on Haven. I mean, Raze was always a great second option on Haven.
Sure.
Like,
I am kind of surprised, though, that both these teams have locked in Jet after the changes, especially after seeing how adept both Zev and Hesi were with those agents on map 1.
I, too, am surprised.
That's
frankly.
really cool.
Maybe. I agree with you. I'm in the same state of mind. And really the only difference is Lila is going to be on that Viper again, doing some silly old lurking, I imagine, and then on the opposite side, Figure8 have the Breach for that extra Zev setup. Zev started going pretty crazy at the end of that last game, so maybe playing a comp where they can get all that supporting utility will be the key.
Could be the key to this one. Map number 2, though, Infinity X versus Figure8. It's elimination on the line or a chance to make it into the top 32. Infinity, they've beaten them twice before. They're up a map and have another opportunity right here on Haven. But Figure8 want to change that tide. On the attacking side, it looks like early on a default setup. The Viper gives you so many options in the mid-round.
And looks like, yeah, that wall, that's pretty standard wall, cutting off on the 8 side, and you're going to see some pressure with the Sova. Recon is going to come through, bounce off the wall into a lobby. Pretty standard opening here, and that Recon's going to get dealt with right away. And now these defenders, though, they have to worry with this wall up that Lila could be creeping down into the sewer. But that is all a distraction, as the rest of the team is just going to go for this full-on assault through Garage. As he taking some space off the dog, they broke some util pieces, and things are going to slow down now. They're dragging these rotations all around the map, breaking utility, and it's only been 30 seconds, so pretty nice start here from Infinity. This is what we saw in Lotus. They're good at working the map.
East site, where they will start to take space here. The Killjoy alarm bot was already down due to the range that the Killjoy was away, and it actually might be contact towards C-Long instead. Fidel on the ankle, right clicks, betraying both of them, in fact, as the plant comes through. And FA is up a member for their retake. Has seen a bit of trouble here. No util to work with, and Flash is coming into her face, but it's a flash from the other side. It's excellent to blind up one. Awkward on the angle, but she's just running and gunning and finding more kills. Another dash activated, but no time to get out, as Carr, the new player, just subbed in for this second map, has to hold the line against an onslaught through Garage. Pilot pulling contact. It's another tap on the spike. BZ Elm actually holding on to things here. Can anybody get her off in time? Carr finds a kill, but cannot stop the defuse. So get the kill, but not in time. Pistol round to Figure8.
All of that work from Hezi, tragically in vain. Dancing around backside, finding 2 kills, but the round falls out of the grasp of Infinity. Figure8 with a nice retake, really just getting on the spike. I mean, they smoked it off, and they defused the spike. That's how you win the round on defense.
That's true, famously so.
Famously, of course. And now, a whole lot of the Spectre army. They've got 5 Spectres. That is a very rare buy.
Yeah, everyone these days, FPX build, buy a rifle, buy a couple pistols. No. Simply Spectre. Simply run, and also die. You win the round, too. That's a little upside of that one. All the players of Infinity look like they wanted to commit towards C, but instead are going to double on back and maybe just look to feast on another orb here before the round goes out of their way.
Slowing things down quite a bit. That A presence taken by the defending side, the Jet Zev. Pushed up with Corn. Third, gonna get some info on Garage, as that's gonna get broken. And of course, this was the map that in the previous series, Infinity won. Figure8 letting this through the pool. You have to imagine that they've done some serious work in the days, you know, in the time rather between the 2 days here, of actually developing some kind of counterplay idea, and you know, based off what went wrong on the previous. So we'll see what that's actually going to be, what the adaptation here is going to be as they try and get themselves back into this series.
And this is clearly a favorite map of Figure8. They've played it 6 times. Not the best record, but they've played some teams, such as We Love Women. That was a 13-1 loss to them, but they've had better performances.
Just like me,
as well.
for real.
And this is one that they're definitely comfortable on, that they can take those learnings from those prior losses to come back stronger. And let's change the tide on this map. Of course, already a good start to this one, but they have allowed the spike to go down by Infinity. So we'll have to take their time in finding the retake here. It's a player close in Mirage and Lila on the corner. And Sidel is taken down, as it will be that cleanup for Figure8.
It's the exact kind of gameplay that I want to see when you buy 5 Spectres. I don't want to see anyone stand still for even a goddamn second, Mimi. I want to see some W keying.
If you're not holding W, you don't want to win. You're not committed. I love to see that ferocity out of Figure8 on that
The ferocity. They committed to the bit, for sure. And they've got 3 Spectres into the next round. Buy up a Sheriff alongside that. Just go for something light here. See if they can maybe make something aggressive happen. Wouldn't be uncharacteristic of the bonus round buy to do so. A little pressure towards A coming in, perhaps, Zev with the Sheriff in hand. Looks like a pretty standard setup they've been going for, though, where they're going to bounce the Recon off the wall into A lobby, Viper wall for Lila to play off. Oh, Recon? Any Recon darters? There it is, off the stun. Was waiting a second for that. It was a little crap play setup, actually, hoping to ping someone through the wall. I like that.
One thing to note, though, Corn, great Recon dart. Unfortunately, Viper wall nullifies that. One upside of Viper means getting A lobby control pretty trivial. Simply wait for your opponents to invest all their utility. And then walk right in. Lila, she's a veteran of walking into places for free. We saw it in map 1. We see it here again as she's weaseling her way towards A short.
This is the advantage of running the Viper on this map. You can apply so much pressure, usually to this A side in sewer in this location. It's forcing out a drone, as you can see. They feel like they have to re-clear just because the wall exists there. The drone's such a valuable piece of, you know, info gathering utility, spent, and it got negative info because the rest of the Infinity team, they were just out of sight. Now they're walking up A for free.
Lila simply putting on her high-vis vest, walking into the construction site. No one will ask any questions. A site, that's completely hers. Dash in, Hesse will join into the party. Zepto was ready for that one. Nice shot from the corner, but taken down with a trade. Car is trying to find her way into the site to help her teammates out, but this is now a 2-stage kind of ordeal. Second flash, up, and Korn goes down in the background. One more left landing. Standing for another moment, but not for long. 10 seconds on that clock, and only Car left alive. The shot's not connecting, and Figure8 get it done. A 3rd round in a row.
Great opening. The first time we've seen a bonus round actually converted in this game as well. Figure8 getting right back into things here on Haven. A great opening after losing their map pick, Lotus. Able to get all the guns in, and they're actually going to go for the attacking, or sorry, rather the defensive ops setup towards the C side. I like this decision quite a bit. It's just going to really shut down that angle, and then, you know, over towards A, they'll deal with the Viper wall, sure, but great information, even if, you know, they can't even find a kill there.
Right, I just had a realization. I've been saying Sidel this whole game. I think her name might be Sad Eel.
Yes. You're
Which
correct.
I think is a lot better than what I was saying. Anyways, we'll move past that one, as it is just going to be an eco. This should be a formality for Figure8, or at least that's what you think, to close things out. At this point, though, it's getting a little dangerous. They're having to commit an ultimate Hunter's Fury into the mix on that C site, but it's not finding any value. Instead, Ashley has the plan. There's an op for the pickings in backside, but no one ready to pick that one up just yet. Fruit Cup. Flash on the angle, Aftershock available too, waiting for her chance to go. With an under feet, she might be forced to make a move. Molly's on both sides, and only 3 HP left. Ashley, not revealed by the recon dart, finds one with her stinger, and Sidil has picked up the operator as well. Into this site now comes Violet, walking forward ever so slowly, and on the front angle is Ashley, taken down through the wall, but there's Molly still on this spike. There's a flat from the other side, and the shots are whiffing, but the Molly is landing. An insane round, but Infinity wins those, I guess.
I mean, the Mollies were putting in some serious work on that round. Off that explosive hit that just totally catches out Zev entirely. And after that, I love this post-plan aggression, playing really close up here. It was Ashley getting that nice kill. Great setup from Infinity. I like what I'm seeing there a lot. And they're going to be able to recover the weapons off the back of that too. Huge swing. Figure8 in control of the game no longer.
And ultimates coming up here for Infinity. Seekers to work with in their mid-round here. And a flash towards C long to get things started. They've really been consistently being able to get this orb towards C and have invested that into getting a lot of these big ultimates up early on. In this round, it'll be that lockdown for Carr to build off of.
And you can see Korn push down very close with that Bucky, the Hezi special, to see if they can make something happen down in the sewer as the wall is propped up, try and work some space taking off that. You can see Fruit Cup as well. It's actually set up with the stun, and that's going to come out off the dog, but they're not really going to be able to swing. I mean, after all, that is a Bucky. Not exactly the best weapon for swinging into an angle. But that is going to cause some delay. It is going to waste that key utility piece of the Sky Dog as well. These things are slowing down a little bit. The flash there as well, but again, it's just like you have a Bucky. You don't want to peek off this stuff, but it is good delay, and Korn should have heard that rotate, I believe, as the alarm bot is going to go down to cover the tracks, and the Seekers are going to be getting them into this C site relatively free.
Violet just through smoke has gotten a kill onto Hesi, but into the site is Sad Eel, and the plant is coming down in just a moment. Ashley to do so. Lockdown on both sides, in fact, coming up in this round. It should neutralize the space unless Violet can catch someone on the cross from the air. Ashley's taken down, and Violet's got another as well. At risk of detainment here, but she's there in time to break the lockdown. And with only one player left alive, Carr, it's too much for her to deal with. Violet, a 4K, and a 4th round to Figure8.
Fantastic retake, so well played from Violet. It didn't net them any kills, but I liked what they were doing over on A regardless. They did a nice job stalling out that push, dragging out some of the utility, and they were able to get a pretty fast rotate off the back of that to C. So far, Figure8 looking very clean on this defense.
Absolutely are, and I think a big part of it has honestly been this Killjoy util and how much value it's found for them. Set up on C towards Garage, Violet is constantly getting information for them that has allowed for these really swift rotations to always be on point, to be able to flood defend these sites. It's super effective versus Infinity's attack thus far.
Gonna have a full buy rifle round here. Fruit Cup with the Rolling Thunder in hand. Significant for retake, pre-take, an aggressive play, all types of stuff. The Rolling Thunder, pretty good. This is a Omen pushed all the way down C here from the defensive side. Might get a little bit of the Omen one-on-one action, but even if we don't, Queasy garnering some effective information. Infinity doing what they do best, just prodding different areas of the map here, pressuring all the way up into B. In the meanwhile, Lila doing what she's done previously on Lotus, playing off that Viper Wall, taking space elsewhere, that they could work back to for the late round hit.
A repush in C here. We'll net some information for Queasy and Violet towards C long. They're now suspicious of the possibility of a late play into B for this A site now, but rotates are going to be far away. You still see that breach player set up in Garage and is actually cautious of a timing, working all the way back through B. They have to invest the dart to be able to contend with that. They did spot a player outside A, so now this A hit is very much known. It's under pressure. Good time, and Dash goes a little bit too far though, and Hesi manages to take her down in reply. So a 4v4, spike being planted, and it will have to be this full retake. But linchpin has to be this flank. Queasy has been walking for so long, all the way from C back to A long, and ready to work off this Rolling Thunder. The ultimate is invested. The player on default is in a lot of trouble, but Violet is taken down. Hesi from the corner doing as much as she can. Is it enough? Carr in a 1v1. Fruit Cup on the other side. Flash available. Turn is swift for Carr. Swing is there through the wall. Only 4 bullets to work with, and it's the Sheriff for Fruit Cup to claim another round.
Figure8 looking fantastic on this defense. 5 rounds to 1. A few gun rounds won. The bonus round won as well. These retakes have been really, really nice. The last one off the individual play, but this one off the teamwork. The scaling into that retake was really nice. The drops from Heaven were well timed with the players coming out from main. That flank coming in as well. Those 2 players all the way back long. I love the setup from Figure8 for this retake. Clinical.
Hesse was doing so much to try and make this round winnable. Takes a really good position there towards Hell, is isolating the duels perfectly, but none of it works out. So, it seems a bit of a reversal here, as it is Figure8 in dominant control. And we've got a tech pause. This gives me time to discuss possibly the most important factor that we haven't talked about yet. A Figure8 and an Infinity are the same symbol. Have you ever thought about that?
Wait everybody, hold up. Wait a second.
Envision an 8 in your mind.
I mean, I don't even need to envision it. Look at the logos on the screen right now.
No, I want you to envision it in your mind.
I'm
you
literally
can't turn the thing on the
staring
screen to the left.
Yeah, but
You need it in your mind.
I'm imagining it on the screen. But
then you'd have to turn your head, and that would look goofy.
You're so perceptive. This is why Riot pays you $40,000 a day to be on the VCT America's Analyst Desk. Mimi's day rate out of control, and this is why.
We don't talk about that. What we do talk about is, I don't know. That was my only point. Any other thoughts on the game besides the two logos being practically the same thing?
What we do talk about during the tech time. What's your favorite kind of timeout, Mimi? Is it tech timeout or tactical timeout?
That's really a tough choice. See, tech timeouts are awesome because I love technology. You know, STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, it's the future, baby. Tactics, though, in the wise words of Killjoy, tactics beat firepower, which also really resonates with me.
I also enjoy that if you have a tactical timeout, you can speculate about what the coaches are saying and try and... It gives you ample opportunity to really make stuff up. My favorite thing. Gotta be my favorite thing in this job.
Love that. Love that so much. Tactical timeouts, though, you know, not quite as fun. As technical timeouts, you can speculate what the players are doing to bide the time while they're sitting and waiting. That's fun. They could be stacking cups. They could be restarting their computer. Because that's why there's a technical
breaking
timeout.
news. Yep, breaking news.
I already broke the news.
Oh, I mean, maybe that was my breaking news.
We'll get you guys back into the game as soon as we can. But for the moment, I think we can refocus on the game for a second if we have to. Because it does seem like right now, Figure8, their retakes in particular, are looking great on Haven.
The retakes are looking very great. You're right. Hold on, Mimi. Let me get out the flour and the Belgian waffle maker. It's time. It's time to waffle. It's time to make the waffles, Mimi. Yes, the retakes have been very, very good for Figure8. And also, I mean, just off the back of losing their own map pick, they've come into this straight away with the momentum, which is nice to see. That bonus round win, very impactful. Korn is already playing really well. She was great on the first map too, picking up the Sova now. So a lot of positives on the side of Figure8 right now. The believers, they're back. They stopped believing at the end of the last map, Mimi.
They're believing again. They have to be. There's no choice but to believe at this point. With 5-1 up. That's all there is to do. Question for you, though. What is your favorite name in the server right now? Because we've got some great names. Korn. Imaginative. Sad eel. Emotive. Animal. Interesting. We have some more stuff, too, that's really cool. Car. It invokes an image of a car in your head. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, Car, you know, not to be a hater, but they might have to consider a rebrand if they really start taking off in Valorant. That's terrible. That's some bad SEO. If you just Google Car, I mean, that's a rough one. So, you know, just something to consider. Maybe add, like, I don't know, like the XXX at the end, or like underscore
like XXX
gamer.
Car
or
67. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Something along, yeah. We gotta fix yell on that one, if I'm being totally honest. I do like Car, but no, you gotta. I mean, listen, you gotta go with Fruit Cup. That's gotta be the one.
Can you remind us how that one's spelled as well?
With FROOTCUHP. That's
how you
spell it. Fruit Cup's going crazy.
Absolutely the correct way to spell. I'm also on the Fruit Cup train. Very pro Fruit Cup myself. We're looking at some replays last week, what we've been watching thus far. We kind of came into this one highlighting the duelists a lot, and Will Hesse's had a great map. It's been picking up some critical kills thus far. Hasn't been enough to get more than one round for her team, as we are back into the action now. A reminder, it's 5-1 with Figure8, the team right now in the lead, down a map in the series.
Placing swarm grenade.
It looks like we're going to get the same open that they've been doing most of the rounds up until this point. You have the Jet and the Sova towards A. Recon super deep all the way into that attacker side spawn, getting some good information. And it's going to be Queasy on the Omen to try and lock down this C site as the explosive hit is going to come in. This is the one thing that worked for Infinity so far. It is the one thing that netted them that round, was an explosive hit onto C. Last time they were able to find an entry. This time it's just going to be a full 5-on-5 retake.
Lila nearly losing her life there around the close corner. As the retakers from Figure8 just wildly swing into the site, and it works. Okay, Violet just giga-chatting them and somehow making a round out of it. A second as well, coming straight into the backlines. Turk up there to follow up with a few kills of her own, and it's already dealt with. 4 left alive, a clean retake, and a 6th round for Figure8.
Of course, they did have the gun advantage, but we'll just file that away as another clinical retake from Figure8, as they've been doing it time and time again. All of the swing timings really nice. And frankly, even, you know, sometimes, obviously, when you start playing better as a unit as well, it will make the individuals shine more. But independent of that, it really does feel still like Violet and Fruit Cup individually, their aim is getting crispier. They're actually warming up into the game here.
Well, Wyatt, you were just mentioning your favorite thing to do is speculate wildly. And we have a tactical timeout here ahead of round 8 out of Infinity.
If there's one thing I'd like to see from Infinity, it's more pressure off of this Viper wall. At this point, they haven't really done anything too significant with it. Lila has pushed up into sewer maybe 1 or 2 times, but again, not any significant pressure. And the Figure8 side aren't doing much to contest it. They're just sending a recon in, maybe making a little bait play to set up the breach stun who's playing towards that B to A connector side. I want to see some serious pressure there. I want to see them put, you know, or rather, I want to see them give the defenders a reason to have to stay towards that A side.
Back into the action, though, we'll have to see if they have the same idea. It is that same Viper wall being thrown down. And I do agree. I think another idea you can work with is just kind of those late round repushes, contact plays into these executes. So often they're kind of scrambling in the late round, going for these really fast rotations, and it's really telegraphing their position because Violet's util has been so good that Figure8 always seems a step ahead in their mid-rounding on this defense.
Quiet little work into garage here. No utility to break. All the KJ stuff is over towards that A side, and it's just going to be a contact duel. Oh my god, Korn just swings onto Ashley, holding her crosshair, hoping to get that trade. Will not. Korn has really been the best player here for Figure8, perhaps. At least on that first map, certainly carrying it over into the second. Great way to open up the round. And, I mean, Figure8, they're looking to be at a strong 7-1 lead.
Infinity. What can they do to try and salvage this round? Sadiel in long, spotted out, has to teleport away. Carr will find a kill there. Onto Korn, that's a trade in the garage area. But all these players are so separated, one in each little section of the map. Carr will take the spike back towards mid, though.
Korn needlessly giving an opening, frankly. Doesn't really need to be peeking out of the doors on Sova at all at this point into the round, and that might give Infinity an opening here as Lila is working up towards A. Are they going to try and go for an A pinch here? Is Sadiel able to even things up with that one? Lila on this late lurk, finding a timing perhaps, but Violet is just way too aware. Crosshair trained on that angle for ages, and Fruit Cup with the stun, the tap down. Now it's all on Carr, the swing. Fruit Cup is just going crazy. Utility for the teammates, utility for themselves, swinging with confidence and hitting shots.
Fruit Cup is excellent right now. And yet again, it's one of these retakes for Figure8. But it really did start with that fight in garage. I mean, it seems at this point, Infinity is getting kind of desperate to find first kills. And in that round, they're just slowly contacting into garage. No one's checking the off angle, and the spacing isn't good enough to even swing for a trade. Instead, it's just 2 isolated 1v1s, both of which are won by the player holding down that space. And at that point, well, the kind of lurk-ups to get things a little closer was nice. It's never really going to be a winnable position after losing that many players so early on.
I ask that you direct your eyes to the Figure8 little, bottom left corner. And look at how many ultimates they have. That's all 5.
5.
That's the
Out of
maximum
5.
they can have, and they've got them all. And they're up 7-1. I am seeing what I wanted, though. Infinity pressuring earlier towards A, but Zev just
Again,
peeking
look
with
at the spacing there.
active. Oh my god.
Hessie is so far forward from her teammate there, trying to challenge into that little corner, and despite having the dash activated, doesn't really have an opportunity to get away with that one. So again, it's these situations where you lose a player early on, and what's the immediate reaction? Where is someone going to try and find something? Where are we going to group up? What is the idea here? Because they're still just a killjoy, lurking alone on the other side of the map, and there's Lila just swinging into the site. She'll go down to Corn, and again, this round looks to be a wash. Figure8 might be up 7 rounds at this point if they can close out this 2-player advantage.
I have to say, Infinity are looking really misguided in this effort to continue contacting. Sure, it does get Sadio the kill there, but it lost them 2 players earlier into this round, and immediately this breach ult, a bit of a pre-take. They're just gonna swing in. Fruit Cup is just radiating confidence in the server right now. The utility is fantastic, swinging, hitting every single shot. This Figure8 defense is way too good. Infinity don't have an answer, but I think there is one hidden, and it is hidden in the one round that they won, which was just an explosive, big utility hit. They keep going for these contact plays, and they keep falling like dominoes.
Yeah, I'm fine with them contacting up close. I think that's one of the strengths of the Viper, right? Contacting up into A short, something like that. But once you're at the point where you're actually in a high-risk position, you need to be ready to actually commit to that execute. And also, if you are going for these contact plays, you need close enough spacing that someone can swing and immediately find a punish onto the player that takes you down. Lila in trouble here, and walking through her smoke. She's dead. Another opener for Corn.
Zev just gonna fall off at this point. Corn is gonna play up close. I like this as well. Zev is just rotating over to A long to pick up the contact for Corn. Provide a bit of assistance to their teammate, and that's gonna fully cut off A, the rest of the Figure8 side. Just have to worry about the other parts of the map. Queasy gonna get taken down. Double swing from Infinity to even the odds. And now look at this, the push all the way through from Figure8.
Zev is holding the line. It's a double setup towards A lobby, but Infinity not headed there. They're holding onto this B site, and Hessie's just not ready for that angle. Another punish for Violet. It really does seem like Infinity is starting to crumble at this point. You see players time and again contacting around corners, not being fully aware of where an enemy could be, and ending up eliminated from the round. 3 players left. They'll try and salvage this one in the 3 versus 4. Into the C site they do get. The spike plant should follow. Lockdown committed from one side. Will Carr elect to reply with one of her own? Not quite yet. Said it's Sad Eel into the operator and taken down. Corn on the other side. And this one does seem to be over. Carr, her position is known as an aftershock at her feet. And there's just too many angles to worry about.
Another fantastic retake from Figure8. They've been storing up all these ultimates for late into the half. The lockdown perfectly timed, but off the lockdown, you had that flank coming in from Corn and C-Long to deal with the players that would be getting pushed out of that radius from the ultimate. Sadio forced to go in the garage alone, Angle being watched. They're just so prepared for where those players are going to be forced to go.
And again, to harken back to just yesterday, these very same teams played the same map, and it was a 13-9 victory for Infinity X. They were looking excellent here, but Figure8 has clearly taken some learnings, has figured out how to punish this contact-heavy attack side of Infinity, and it is continuing to work. White, they wanted to go for one of these faster C hits like you were talking about, but Infinity has looked to shut things down early on. They have a great stack here, 3 players ready.
Yeah, they've really read this situation. They had an inkling that a play like this would be coming through. And even still, they left Queasy over in Garage just to pick up that open angle.
I've got your trail.
And this duo, Fruit Cup and Zeb, they've been working together in tandem as a Breach and Jet do. The knives are popped while the site is coming in. The Seeker is quite a distraction as Fruit Cup, who's been absolutely on fire, going to be able to get the first. Zeb swinging for her teammate. Queasy swinging in from Garage, where they had been waiting, holding that angle, and it's all left on Lila. Figure8 supporting each other perfectly.
No one broke the dart there, and that was the go sign for the players to swing. You have a flash coming in, you have a dart coming in. It's all perfectly timed from Figure8 to make it as hard as possible for Infinity to hold on to that site. Queasy getting 2 in the round, and now Lila not having any chance at this one. Corn on the cleanup, 10-1. This is a complete reversal of what we saw in the first map.
This looks like a totally different team that we're watching on defense. Fruit Cup and Violet have just really taken things to another level, but it's just totally individually aside. The way that they're swinging off each other in situations like that, the absolute confidence that they have of not just individually, but it's really just the trust that they have in each other that Fruit Cup continues to hold that in backside. Zev has to back off because of the Seeker and come straight back into support.
Last round of the half here, and last chance for the side of Infinity X to try and get 2 rounds instead of 1. That'd be 2 times as good. Maybe a chance to get that done here. It'll be a dog into A short. It'll be Lila again, just contacting up completely alone and A long. This time, though, no one will be there to punish her. A bit of bait towards Garage as well, as one will deal some damage onto Hesse, but not quite find the kill.
Hesse, that star duelist from the first map for the Infinity side, putting up 26 kills on the Rays, but just hasn't been able to string anything together here whatsoever so far on Haven.
Turret will be broken on the A site. Won't call for a rotation at a Figure8, as they do have this operator posted on the line. If Infinity go for another one of these contacty plays, Violet is going to be the player to punish that. Use the timing right on this angle. She'll repost towards the backside and fully blinded up, pushed away. It is the site taken for Infinity.
Welcome to my
Violet's going to try and rotate up towards Heaven. Corn with the Hunter's Fury for the retake here. Lockdown into delay. You can see Ashley just crosshair train for that common recon spot. Hunter's Fury going to be used to break the lockdown. There we go. Just took that third blast. And now they have the Viper's Pit to deal with. Infinity's last chance to put a second on the board.
Has to be a flood from Heaven. The Viper's Pit blocking everything else. Paranoia coming in at a good time. Violet, though, the one to find the first kill. Carr trying to reply, but Sadiel, her position is important here. She has to stay alive towards Hell. Now the only player left alive on the team. The other 2 on low HP. But again, it's Figure8 in the retake. I don't think they've lost a single retake this entire half.
Just a stunning blowout on defense from Figure8.
Switching sides.
Totally different team from the first map that we watched. Individually, the team play, specifically, really, for me, we're taking it back to the fundamentals. The swinging for each other and the timings that they have to support each other are flawless. And we're seeing that retake after retake after retake. They are always there for each other.
The teamwork has been so excellent. And again, you made this point earlier, but you have to compare it to map number 1. And to really just the history of these 2 teams. Infinity has beaten them twice. In a best out of 3 in Game Changers, in a best out of 1 in Sakura Cup. And it's always been, close maps, but generally convincing at the end of the day for the side of Infinity. This is the turnaround you need to get your confidence back in the moment that matters most. Staying alive in the lower bracket, making it to the next stage of these qualifiers. Where stepping up like this is so important. And Figure8, they just want to make this a stomp. You win the pistol round, you basically won the map. And that's what they have the chance to do here with this execute on it.
And lest we forget, just a day ago on this map, it was a 13-9 win for Infinity. They have 1 round right now. Figure8, they did their homework. They really have done an excellent job of looking back, understanding what went wrong, but at this point, it's all in the pistol round. That concuss going to do a whole lot as Infinity are on this retake. Born going to get taken down early, and now we are into the 4-on-5. A couple players biting the time in that smoke. Zev absolutely blinded up, but not dealt with. And it's down to Fruit Cup and Zev in this same position. They're going to get swung on by everyone. Really well done from Infinity. All 3 players collapsing on those 2 trapped in Hell.
So what this should be is the start of a fake comeback, right? It's 11-1 half. You're gonna win a few rounds. You're gonna lose. You're gonna go to map 3, but it's gonna give you some confidence, right? That's really what we're after here.
Yeah, is this gonna be one of those halves where it gets to 13-8, but then it's like, well, at least they have some momentum going into the third map? Is it gonna be one of those situations where we have to use that narrative?
I think it might be one of those situations. But what? If they can just get a few rounds here, it could really build confidence heading into the third map. There really is a chance
please.
that one
I can't.
happen.
Nope. I'm done. I'm over that narrative. We can't use that one anymore. That's too much of a. Nope. That caster trope narrative. It's gone. It's done. It's over. Also, I don't even believe in the fake comp. Right now, the believers we're like 2% belief. There's
2%.
a lot. Very little belief. We have a long road ahead of us.
79 last map. And this map, no believers. I really do hate to see that. Maybe there'll be some belief. Maybe we get up to 3% if they win this round. Surely you don't lose too many players. You lose 1 or 2 here or there. It's totally fine. It's only Corn left with the Classic, and it's a 1v3. No real chance. If this one, the Spike is going to hightail it over towards C. How long will Corn live? 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. I'm not going to keep counting. She's just going to live a little bit longer. She's dead now, though.
Spike plant. Yeah, pretty valuable.
That's good.
Going to help out the economy here. Infinity have some pretty decent weapons to carry over into this OT map point. Figure8 with the biggest blowout so far that there's been in the rivalry between these two teams. Both vying for a spot into the top 32 bracket. The loser going home. And the loser going home earlier than they did in Stage 2. It was both of these teams that made it to the round of 32 in Game Changer Stage 2. Both eliminated at that point, and both trying to make it further here in Stage 3.
Eyes up.
Give some credit, though, to Infinity. Despite making a substitution into this map, Cars honestly had some solid moments, if anything, where everyone has really been struggling. Of course, it has been a stomp towards the other side. Car has stepped up and given a few moments of brilliance for these 3 rounds that Infinity have managed to garner. They will have the rifles now, and this is where the real test comes. Figure8 working their way through mid here, just taking their time on this default. Looks like they might be considering either a finish towards B or just prioritizing breaking the alarm bot here.
Infinity, perhaps early round, expecting a play that they had seen from Figure8 in their previous matchup. They had 4 stacked towards A. They're just going to contact Reclear close B and find that first pick onto Zev. That's the entering player down. So when that hit eventually does come in, Figure8 are going to struggle to have an explosive presence in the site. No one to really take that deep space, but Hezzy just going to lose the duel. Things even up with 40 seconds on the board. Corn still with a recon. Fruit Cup with a whole lot of breach utility as well. They can get a decent exec off. But it's all about creating space when it does happen, getting deep into the site, not getting bogged down in the choke by those Viper mollies, Lila with the 2 of them.
Violet has worked into this A site and has made the call for her teammates to rotate on over. Lila not quite being spotted, but rotates are here. Maybe an actual scene, and now for sure Violet has an opportunity, but yeah, that clock is ticking away, 5 seconds, but Plant is being stuck, and Fruit Cup will get that done at the final moment. Lila in heaven taken down as well. It's only Car, 1v3, try and stave off map point here to try and avoid bind in this series. And there's not many opportunities to get something done. Molly at her feet to delay, and it's Queasy Elm to take her down.
Violet just playing with so much excess self-belief, just taking 2 fights, swinging into spawn, wins both duels with headshots. That duo, the KJ and Breach, just fantastic on this map. Corn as well, the team play on point, and Figure8 just looking to close things out from here.
12-3 here. Would be a big turnaround after map 1, after the history of these teams, to be able to get a dominant win, a confident win over Infinity. Dart will go towards A. There's 4 players set up here from that defensive side. Cloudburst will come in time to not reveal that information just yet, but Figure8 was never really tempted to commit.
Yeah, interestingly, this is how they opened the previous round too, with 4 players on A. This must be something that they're reading from their last matchup that Figure8 simply aren't doing this time around. Opening with 4 on A is quite unorthodox. They're actually going to push all the way through as well with 2 players, and they're going to run into Violet. That is the wrong player to walk into. I would trust Violet more than anyone on Earth to hit a headshot at this point.
Maybe Hesse, pretty trustworthy as well, it would seem. Goes straight out onto Violet there into a 4-on-4. So a gun picked up, and Zev not realizing the possibility of a player on that angle. A player through window taking her down. 2 versus 4 at this point in time. Corn will find Ashley, but Corn is now alone, and the spike's on the floor in that C site. Can she find it? Can she grab it? 40 seconds. It's a lot of time to get back into this one. It's Killjoy spotted on the close corner, but not enough bullets to get it done. Infinity stay alive another round.
I'm interested to see if this Infinity 4-person setup on A is ever going to bear fruit, as they've done it twice in a row. I'm looking to see if they're going to do it a 3rd time here. It doesn't look like it. They've just got the sky there at this point. So they're not going to opt for that anymore. As Figure8 look to be geared up for an explosive C hit. They've got the Hunter's Fury, so effective at clearing out that site, and it looks like what's in store for us.
12-4. Another opportunity to close this game out, and a big ultimate to do so with. Hunter's Fury, available Fruit Cup as well. Getting close to her own ultimate. Plan to kill here or there. Pull that Rolling Thunder into the fray, and the entries are excellent. Queasy, Elm, and Zev take down the defenders. And now it has to be this retake. Lila was so far away. Judge in hand, Viper's Pit behind her. And 2 rifles to work with as well. Ashley has a flash, but it's a full setup towards long, and well, this pit will get them out from the spawn side. It's definitely not going to win them any rounds here. I don't think the spike even made its way into that Viper's Pit, and it did not. No smokes then to block this long angle, bar the cloud burst. Ultimate committed, flash is perfect. No one's on that spike, and they're all falling down. Lila, this one's over. Judge in the close corner. We'll get a kill here or there, try and get a little bit of damage before the game ends, but we all knew it was a formality. From 11-1 at the half, it was just a moment away from closing out, and Find is on the horizon. The ult will finish it, as it's the massive turnaround for Figure8.
What a fantastic end from Figure8 as well. Just the ultimate, the breach flash, the swinging players are all ready to go. There was just, you know, there was the 3-2-1, and they all just pressed the keys at the same time. They all swing to close out that round in the post plant. The team play throughout that entire map, fantastic. They were always swinging for each other at the exact correct times. Great fragging from Fruit Cup, Horn, Violet, so strong with the Vandal. They just had everything going for them in that game. That was genuinely a totally different team. Oddly enough, because that wasn't their map pick.
Yeah,
Lotus was, and they
Lotus
looked so much better on this one.
Somehow they turn it around. History has already flipped on its head. Last time, that was a 13-9 to Figure8, but this time, or to Infinity, excuse me. But this time, Figure8 changed the script. We'll have to see if they can make another reversal happen. They lost Bind yesterday, but now they have another chance to stay alive here in Game Changers Series 3 on Bind yet again. We'll find out the conclusion to the series right after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.